Hello students, we are going to continue with chapter number 15, Life Processes in Living Organisms for Standard 9th. Subject is Science 2. Today we are going to start with part 3 of the video. In this video we are going to study about excretion, and we are also going to study the structure of excretory system of human beings. Children, have you seen your mother cleaning your house regularly? And do you know why she has to do that? Well, many waste substances are generated in the house on daily basis. You must have seen dust particles collected on the surfaces, cobwebs formed on the wall. So whatever dust or whatever dirt or whatever debris is formed or collected in the house has to be removed from time to time. Similarly, our body produces harmful nitrogenous substances, and these substances have to be removed from the body at regular intervals. So this function of removal of harmful nitrogenous waste is performed by the kidneys. When we eat food, different constituents of food are ingested, digested, and absorbed into the bloodstream. Our body utilizes some of these substances. Excess substances are stored, but harmful substances are to be eliminated or thrown out of the body, or else these substances can become harmful. So, some of the waste products that are formed in our body due to metabolic activities are carbon dioxide, water, bile pigments, nitrogenous wastes which contain urea, uric acid and ammonia, some inorganic salts like sodium chloride, hormones and vitamins. Some more waste products are formed in the body. They are the bile pigments, the bilirubin and the biliverdin. And bile pigments, bilirubin and biliverdin are formed in the liver due to the breakdown of hemoglobin in the blood. These excretory substances pass out to the intestine and then expelled through the anus. The urea and the inorganic salts like the sodium chloride are some more excretory products, and these are eliminated or removed through the sweat glands which are present in the skin. Kidneys play a major role as excretory organ in all the vertebrates because kidneys help in producing the urine, and thereby the urine is expelled from the body. So the nitrogenous waste substances are very harmful for our body. If these substances get accumulated in our body, or if these substances are retained in our body for a long time, then it can lead to serious harm to our body or even death of an individual. Therefore, it is very important to remove such harmful and waste substances from the body. Different organisms have different methods or different mechanisms of removing the waste products from the body. So the biological process involved in the removal of waste products or harmful substances from the body is called as excretion. I repeat, the biological process involved in the removal of waste products or harmful substances from the body is called as excretion. Many unicellular organisms remove these waste from their body by a simple process called as diffusion, that is exchange of substances from the body surface into the surroundings. But complex multicellular organisms make use of specialized organs in order to perform the function of excretion. The process of excretion is a simple process in plants than in animals. This is because plants do not have any specialized excretory organs or any excretory system like the animals. Plants have to excrete out excess carbon dioxide and oxygen. Carbon dioxide is the waste product of aerobic respiration, whereas oxygen is the waste product of photosynthesis. So, plants have to excrete excess carbon dioxide and oxygen through the stomata that are present in the leaves. So, in case of plants, gaseous exchange of the excretory materials takes place by the process of diffusion. Other than gaseous wastes like carbon dioxide and oxygen, plants also generate organic waste such as gums, oils, latex, resins, and these waste products are stored in the vacuoles, flowers, fruits, and barks of the trees. Eventually, these parts of plants fall off or are shed off. In some plants, the waste products are very useful. For example, the oil which is obtained from the eucalyptus and the sandalwood tree. We get latex from the rubber tree. We get gum from the acacia tree. So all these substances form useful products which are obtained from the plant. In some plants, the waste products are stored as resins and gums, and it is stored in the old xylem. Some plants like the suran, called as the elephant's yam, and colocasia, also known as adu, produce calcium oxalate crystals which are called as raphides. These calcium oxalate crystals are needle shaped, and if we happen to eat any preparation made from suran, that is yam, or colocasia, that is adu, then it causes an itching sensation in the throat. Have you observed your mother cutting elephant yam or suran and colocasia leaves? And if you have done that, then have you noticed that your hands start itching when you are cutting suran and colocasia leaves? Have you asked your mother about the way to avoid the itching? Find out the reason behind it. Children, elephant yam, that is suran, and colocasia leaves, that is adu ka patta, cause itching while we are cutting them. Because when we cut suran or colocasia leaves, the crystals, the needle shaped crystals called as the raphides, are exposed. And when these needle shaped crystals come in contact with our skin, then they cause irritation to the skin, and therefore we experience the itching sensation when we are handling or when we are cutting yam or colocasia leaves. So in order to avoid this itching, what we do is we apply juice of tamarind or lemon on the hand before cutting these vegetables. Also, while making the food preparations from suran or colocasia, we add juice of tamarind or lemon into the food preparation in order to avoid the itching in our throat. This is the reason is that tamarind or lemon, or even we add kokum sometimes, contains a mild acid, and this mild acid dissolves the rapphide crystals or the calcium oxalate crystals, and that helps in stopping the itching in the throat. So these are the leaves of colocasia or adu, and this is the elephant's yam, which is called as a suran. And both colocasia leaves and elephant yam contain these needle shaped crystals called as raphides or calcium oxalate crystals, and these crystals are responsible for causing itching sensation of the hand as well as itching of the throat. Let us take up some activity based questions. The first question is, leaves of plants fall off in a particular season. We know that plants do not have a special excretory system to eliminate or to throw off their waste. So the waste substances are stored in the leaves, and when the particular season or when the right season comes, the leaves are shed off along with the waste substances in them. Second question, fruits, flowers fall off after a certain period of time. In plants, the waste substances are stored in different parts of the plants, like the barks of the stem, the leaves, the flowers, and fruits. Therefore, it is necessary to remove the waste products from the plant body, and therefore, it is necessary to shed off the leaves, the flowers, the fruits, and the barks of the stems. In case of fruits and flowers, due to the maturation of these parts, nutrient supply to that part does not take place. So, the supply of nutrients to these parts like the fruits and the flowers is completely blocked, and this leads to abscission in that part of the plant. Abscission of organs occurs widely in plant organs, and it happens because that particular part of the plant has already served its function and is ripe, and therefore it is no longer wanted by the plant. So the plant has no other option than to shed it. So because of abscission of that part of the plant, detachment of that part of the plant takes place, and that is the reason why fruits, flowers fall off after a certain period of time. The third question is, substances like resin, gum, etc. are given out of the plant body. Latex, gum, resin are some of the waste products which are formed by the plant, and they are given out as a result of process of excretion which happens in plants. Also, many plants, especially the woody plants, produce resin and gum, and that is in response to an injury to the plant. So, the resins and the gums which are produced by the plant part acts just like a bandage, protecting the plants from the attack of pathogens and insects. So, substances like gum and resin are given out of the plant body because they are the waste products which are formed in the plant. The latex which is formed in the plant is used for making rubber products. The resin as an excretory product is used for making paints, varnishes, and even gum. And the gum which is obtained from the acacia tree is used as a very strong adhesive, that is some binding material. We are now going to begin with the study of human excretory system. The human excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys. So these bean-shaped structures are called as kidneys. We have a pair of ureters, the tube-like structures called as ureters, a sac-like structure called as the urinary bladder, and a tube which extends from the base of the urinary bladder, which is called as a urethra. So the excretory system in human beings consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. The kidneys are a pair of dark red bean-shaped organs. They are about 10 centimeters long, 5 centimeters wide, and about 4 centimeters thick. What is their position? The kidneys are located on either side of the vertebral column. Vertebral column means our backbone. So the kidneys are present on the either one on each side of the vertebral column, and they are located on the back side of the abdominal cavity. The abdominal cavity is the cavity where our stomach is located. So at the back of the abdomen and on either side of the vertebral column lies lies a pair of kidneys. We find that each of the kidney consists of a millions of filtrating units, and these filtration units or filtrating units are called as nephrons. This is the structure of a single nephron, and we are going to do a detailed study of the nephron in the next video. So each kidney consists of millions of these filtrating structures or filtration structures called as the nephrons. If you look at both the kidneys properly, you will find that the right kidney is slightly lower in position than the left kidney. Each kidney has about 10 lakh nephrons, that is equal to 1 million nephrons. Approximately, we have 5 liters of blood in our body. So, this 5 liters of blood, which is present in every healthy individual, passes through the kidney about 400 times in a day. And when the blood passes 400 times every day through the kidney produces 190 liters of fluid, which is called as a filtrate. Out of this 190 liters of filtrate, about 1 to 1.9 liters of urine is formed. The remaining filtrate is reabsorbed into the bloodstream. Let us study the functions of the kidney. The first function is kidneys help in maintaining the internal environment of a body constant. This is called as homeostasis. So what is that the kidney tries to maintain at an optimum level or at a normal level? The kidneys help in maintaining the blood pressure of a body. They help in controlling the acid base level in a body. They also help in controlling or balancing the concentration of electrolytes in a body. So because of the control of our acid base, control of the blood pressure, control of electrolytes, the internal environment of the body is maintained at an optimum level, which is called as homeostasis. The second function of the kidney is it helps in elimination of the nitrogenous waste products from the body. Third function is it performs an important function of osmoregulation. What is osmoregulation? When the kidney removes waste products like urea from the blood, it still regulates or it still maintains the composition of salt and water which is present in the blood. This is called as osmoregulation. Fourth function is it helps in removal of foreign substances like drugs, maybe some medicines, and pigments, colored substances that gain an entry into a body. There are a pair of narrow ducts or narrow tubes, each coming out of the central notch which is present in the kidney. The central notch present in the kidney is called as a hilus. So these tube-like structures, the narrow tube-like structures which start from the hilus and runs up to the urinary bladder are called as the ureters. Each of the ureter is about 25 to 30 centimeters long. The function of the ureters is to carry the urine from the kidney up to the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder is a pear-shaped structure having a thick muscular wall. It is a single large muscular bag which lies in a pelvic cavity. The urinary bladder is under the control of nerves. Once the bladder is full, then one gets the urge to urinate. The main function of the urinary bladder is to store urine temporarily. The capacity of the bladder is about 400 to 600 ml of urine. When the bag is full, then the urine is expelled out at regular intervals. The last part of the excretory system is the urethra. The urethra starts from the lower part of the urinary bladder. So this is your urinary bladder. The urethra starts from the lower part of the urinary bladder, and this tube opens to the exterior. The exterior opening or the opening of the urethra is called as the external urethral orifice through which the urine is expelled out of the body. The opening of the urethra is guarded by a muscle called as the sphincter muscle, and this sphincter muscle can open and close as per our need or urge to urinate, because the sphincter muscle is completely under a voluntary control. So the urethral sphincter is under a voluntary control. It can open and close as per our need or as per our requirement. So we can control the urge to urinate. When the bladder is completely full, then the sphincter muscle opens up and process of urination takes place. This process of urination is also called as micturition. The main function of the urethra is to expel the urine out of the body through the small opening present in the exterior called as the external urethral orifice.